I don't know about you guys, but I have like 1,000 different apps on my phone for 1,000 different things. But there are a few apps that I use every single day in my job as a physician that make me more productive and more efficient. Today, we're going to be looking at one of these apps. It's called Wispr Flow, and it's basically just a voice-to-text app, which sounds really simple, but it does so much more than that. So what is Wispr Flow? Well, Wispr Flow is a speech-to-text app that has AI backing. And what it does is it takes the information that you speak either into your phone or your computer, and it restructures it, it formats it, and it basically cleans up the information so that your texts that are going out are coherent and much clearer. And one of the coolest features, I use it every day, is you can actually whisper into your phone, not letting anyone around you hear what you're saying, and it will perfectly bring up the text for you. If you've ever wished you could text faster, dictate more cleaner medical information, or just not be that guy in a crowded hallway screaming into your phone trying to get information across to somebody, this might be the app for you. So let's check it out. Although we've all gotten used to texting on a phone screen, it's never a very satisfying option, especially when you're sending medical information. Let's say you need to text a colleague about a patient you saw on call that you want them to follow up with tomorrow. You have to get all that information into the text, and those long paragraphs can become very tedious when you're just punching around with your thumbs. Then inevitably, because it's medical jargon, you have to go back and autocorrect, or you have to go find errors in your paragraph, put your little cursor there, delete, and type. It really becomes an arduous task, and it becomes really inefficient. So today we're looking at Wispr Flow, which is an AI-powered app that lives on your phone and your computer and is become one of the most single valuable tools that I use in my day-to-day activities. So much of our communication as doctors now have become text-based, right? Whether that's texting a colleague about a consult, whether that's sending information in the EMR, whether that's emailing, all of those things have become text-based, and since we're always on the go, a lot of it is done via our mobile phones or our laptops. Now, even outside of medicine, I use it to write prompts for ChatGPT, to write emails, and basically any app on your phone that has a blinking cursor, you can use Wispr Flow on. Now, there's some tips and tricks to that we'll go through in this video, but I actually use it for a lot more than just medicine. One of the interesting things is the comparison between Wispr Flow and the microphone that Apple has on their iPhone text message app. Now, why wouldn't I just use that? It's free, it's there. The issue is, as you guys know, if you're dictating using that small microphone, the autocorrects never work for medical jargon, and it's really not formatting anything that you're saying in a coherent way. Wispr Flow is able to do that, and you can see in this demonstration how it differs.
So here's a comparison between the iPhone microphone as well as the Wispr Flow. I'm just going to dictate a note to my colleague who is rounding on a patient that I just saw. Hey Devin, I had the opportunity to see that patient at post-op from his open reduction and fixation of his right shoulder. Currently he's doing pretty well with some pain, but still well managed with Norco 5325. I'd like you to do a couple things for me. Can you check his hemoglobin tomorrow? Can you change his dressing tomorrow? Can you check with the nurses to make sure that his pain is well controlled? And can you get him ready for discharge either tomorrow or the day after? I appreciate your help with it, and let's see if we can see him back next week. No, let's follow up with him in 2 weeks. Thanks. So now you can see that the iPhone dictation is just a wall of text, but let's see what the Wispr Flow comes up with. So you can see in the Wispr Flow, we have a perfectly formatted text. It even spelled Devin right because it's in my dictionary. And also it bullet points the things that I want him to do, the 4 things that I need him to do, as well as it sees my intent that I want to see him back in 2 weeks and takes out all that confusion about seeing him back in 1 week. Pretty amazing.
Whenever we talk about a new app in medicine, we always answer our 4 questions, so we're going to jump in those today. Remember, does it work? Will I get paid? Will I get sued? And how does it fit into my practice? So let's jump into those questions now. So number 1, does it work? Yeah, Wispr Flow works really well for this voice-to-text dictation that we all need to do every day as physicians. The amazing thing about Wispr Flow, and the thing that I think differentiates it from just using the microphone button on your text message application, is that it works across formats. So you can use it on your phone, you can use it on any app in your phone. It lives on your computer or your laptop, whether it be Windows or Mac, and you can access it really from anywhere. And once you have a license, you can use it in any of those situations. It literally just becomes kind of a universal voice-to-text tool. Now, I think Dragon still has a place for a lot of physicians, especially in some of the long-form EMR dictation, but for day-to-day use, I've used Wispr Flow consistently, and it's a much better option for me. What's crazy is it can kind of assume your intent because it's using artificial intelligence. So even if you're saying something that initially you're pointing in one direction and then in mid-sentence you kind of pivot, Wispr Flow will kind of assess your intent and go the direction that you want it to. You're in really crowded, loud spaces, hospital cafeterias or operating rooms, and you want to send a message to someone, you can just whisper into your phone. Nobody around you can hear what's going on, and all that information will be formatted appropriately for you so that you can send it either via text or email. Just last week, I was at my daughter's karate practice, and I had to send something to a colleague that was kind of a long text message about a patient that wasn't doing so well. And in the middle of this group of parents that were watching their kids at karate, I was able to send a very important text message by whispering into my phone, and the information that was within the text was excellent, and I sent it off, and it really helped me be more productive on that day while still ensuring that the information was conveyed in the correct way. There's some bugs that I think they're trying to work out that still give me a little bit of pause. For instance, in certain apps, you have to switch to the Wispr Flow app and then switch back. Or in certain situations, like if you're using a remote login to an electronic medical record like Epic, sometimes you can't get the voice from your computer onto that remote login. I think they're working on that as well, because now I've been using it and it's been working, but it's something that you have to consider. Remember, with Wispr Flow, you always should do a trial first. The trial is free. You can use it for X amount of words and see if it works for you. But try to use it across all your communication methods. That includes your phone, your laptop, and your work computer. Number 2, will I get paid? Well, this will increase your productivity and efficiency, so it's not really something that you can bill for, obviously. But if you can get your information across in a more efficient way, it can help you in your productivity as a physician. Now, cost is always a consideration, and the last thing I want to do is pay for another subscription service. But because I use this app every single day, and it helped me with my work activities as well as my social and home activities, I'm happy to pay the $12 a month for this particular app. It always interests me because this is a small company that makes this app. I got a feeling that if Apple or Google were smart, they'd probably just buy this company up and integrate this into their text message app in general, but it hasn't happened yet, and they just raised more money for their startup, so I'm wishing them the best. Number 3, will I get sued? Well, no, it's not really that type of app. Essentially what it does is it just takes your voice and brings it into text. One of the most important things from a medical standpoint is Wispr Flow has a HIPAA protected or a HIPAA compliant mode. It's pretty easy to access. I'll show you how here. You just go into your settings, and then you go into data and privacy, and as you can scroll down, you'll see that you want to go into private mode, which means all your information is kept private. And then right under that, there's a HIPAA compliance form that you sign, and that just indicates to Wispr Flow that this information is medical and needs to be HIPAA compliant. Now, that doesn't just mean you can only do medical dictations into your Wispr Flow app. You can do regular dictations as well too, but at least when you click this, you know that you're being compliant. All the information regarding HIPAA compliance is on their website and is easy to review. And number 4, how has it changed my practice? Well, the nice thing is I can really do more work on the go. If I'm in my car and I need to dictate a note to a medical colleague or even just my family or in a social situation, I use it that way as well too. If I'm in a crowded room and I need to whisper some important kind of patient protected information, I can do that and not fear about losing privacy issues. For instance, a lot of times I'm texting referring physicians about updates about their patients, and so I can dictate a relatively long message into my phone and send it via text, and the format will be appropriate and the intent will be there, and that's something that I've been using for a lot lately. If you're rambling and you're tired because you've been on call all night and you're trying to send a text message and you're kind of rambling and saying the same things over and over again, Wispr Flow will clean that up and ensure that the text that's going out makes sense. I know a lot of physicians are kind of tried and true in their Dragon or their Apple voice dictation, but this is an alternative to that, and there is a price associated with it, so you need to see if it's worth it for you. So in summary, Wispr Flow has really changed the way I text, document, and communicate. I use it every day in work, social, and family situations without any reservation. There's some tips and tricks that you have to get used to, but they're constantly making the app better, and I think they're going to continue to do so going forward to make it easier to use for folks. It's one of the few tools that I recommend to every physician I know because we're always stuck in that mode where we're constantly typing and editing, and it's never really a satisfying situation when you're typing into your phone with your thumbs and not getting the intent across that you would like. Well, it's been absolutely my pleasure to bring you the information regarding this app today. I'm hoping that if you trial it and it works out for you, it can be really helpful in helping you practice smarter, not harder. And I think it's a really great way for just a simple voice-to-text app to really change the way we practice medicine. Thanks a lot for watching. If you like the intersection between tech and medicine and how it can help us become more productive as physicians and help treat our patients better, please like and subscribe.